everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Beach Square Podcast. On this week's episode, we review the Latin American International Championships results, review our predictions from the event and our tier list, and discuss what changes we would make to that tier list going forward. We know we have some European events this weekend, and we got some San Antonio regionals in a couple of weeks. So we want to discuss what decks are going forward. We also have an interview with Jared Grimes, owner and creator of PokeStats Live, as we talk about Chen Pao and his LAIC top 128 finish. My name is Eric Ridgway. I'm joined as always by Maddox Corcoran and Parker Greenwald. I just got back from LAIC. How you guys doing, guys?
Doing good. Yeah, can't complain too much right now.
That's good to hear.
Feeling good. Got the new background, chilling with some Fusion Strike love. Eric, I got to ask you. I mean, are as like getting back to America, is it tough with all that extra cash in your pocket from your top 64 finish, man?
I mean, we'll maybe right now it's a little light. Give me a year, and then I'll let you know.
When Copag pays out, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you'll get the money in time to pay your ticket to next LAIC.
LAIC, yeah. Yeah, I love the background though. I know it's our friend in Japan that kind of tweeted that at you today, and it's beautiful. Ice Cube's over here like mean mugging you.
Oh yeah, I love this Ice Cube. Yeah, it's like when you roll up and didn't bench Manaphy, it's like, oh boy, Ice Cube's coming for you.
He's coming.
He's coming. But yeah, you've been in West Coast, so you weren't able to go to LAIC. How's West Coast treating you?
Yeah, really. West Coast has been nice. Really, bummed that I didn't get to go to LAIC. It looks like everyone had a lot of fun out there. And big finishes too. I was in LA, Los Angeles. I was there for a sports weekend with some family, and now I'm in New Orleans for Thanksgiving. So looking forward to that. I'm getting a little preview of NAIC, just making me miss out on LAIC even more. But
yeah, no, yeah. Can you go check out the venue and like get some hotels booked for us or something?
There you go, something like that. Maybe I'll sneak a power tablet under the tables just to have it, just in case. Oh, it'll rotate by then. Bummer. So
yeah, you can't.
Don't worry, Ice Cube won't.
Hey,
you still play Ice Cube in your deck.
No, Ice Cube is E block, but it came out in Brilliant Stars. Fun fact. Yeah. So
wait, does a Selgor rotate too? Sad.
Yeah, well, it's all Fusion Strike. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Selgor made a big impact this weekend. We'll talk about that later. Kind of interesting. Parker, how you been? What you been doing lately? Any Pokemon events or?
I ran a Premier Challenge on Sunday for VDGC.
Okay.
That was fun as always. I started it way earlier, so I left at a reasonable time. But
there you go.
Outside of that, I'm taking a break for the rest of the season, so haven't really been to any events.
Understood. Yep, we're here for you. We're glad you're here, and I'd love to keep testing with you and playing. And
of course,
you've been our inspiration since the beginning, so we'll always be there for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just got back from LAIC, top 64 finished. Super thrilled, honestly. It was a whirlwind of 2 weeks before. I know Maddox, you know more than probably Parker does, but I was hopping between decks back and forth, man. I didn't know what to play, and I think it's mostly stemmed from my experience in Europe last year. New format, didn't know. Like I was so nervous at going into Europe last year, and I felt like I made the right play, and I just didn't test it enough. With like Lugia single strike before it was like super big with Urshifu.
Yep.
But so I was really focusing on my testing this event and just making sure I know my matchups, for the decks that I wanted to choose. And Guardy got a really big hype train a week or two before. Like Moon was starting to fall off a little bit, and Guardy got a big hype train. So that kind of pushed me towards Miraidon was the play. Like the deck just plays 100% of every games for the most part.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I don't think there wasn't a game this weekend where I went like attach pass. Not one.
That's good, actually.
That's the dream. I mean, hey, that's what you need sometimes,
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what gets you a good run as you did. In addition to playing well, right? There's that luck aspect too. I know. I mean, just thinking back to like the 2 weeks of you prepping for, right? I know you kind of started on Miraidon, you're like set on Miraidon, and then was kind of jump into some Lost Box a little bit. I mean, how did those feel? Because I mean, you were kind of tearing up locals with it. I was like, okay, I guess he's running Lost Box again.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing Lost Box Moon. I know Lost Box Moon kind of made top 8, at LAIC as well. A different version than what I was dealing with. I was playing with the Ninja, not the Zard. And so my only way to deal with hands was the Moon, and when you do deal with the Moon, Yeah, yeah. So if you deal with the hands with the moon, you know, then you're basically KOing yourself, and they're taking 2 prizes right back. So it wasn't very good. It was very strong. It was basically like a turbo lost box, you know, with Ninja and Moon. So, you know, sometimes I was turn one mooning people, turn
Mooning
one
people.
turn one Ninja and people. Um, but then I settled on Lost Box. Zard was like the better Lost Box, and so I never thought to combine them both. So I'm excited to kind of test with Brandon's list and see how that feels and make some adjustments myself. You know, as we go to San Antonio. But I wasn't able to deal with hands enough in my testing. You know, like the Radiant Zard into Chen Pao matchup, it didn't feel fluid. Every time I was playing like 2 Raihan, 3 Poke Gear, 3 Gates, like
Yeah.
1 double turbo. You know, I was trying to make it as consistent as possible to the Zard for when you need to respond. And I also knew Lost Box Pidgeot was getting some heat compared to Lost Box Bibarel. And the Pidgeot version plays Lost City, and if your Zard gets Lost City in that matchup, you just lose.
Charizard, Charizard, Pidgeot.
Yeah, Charizard. Yeah, sorry, yeah, Charizard, Pidgeot. Yeah, so that's kind of why I switched back to Miraidon late. Is just like, all right, well, if Guardy stocks are up, Moon stocks are down, because I didn't love the Miraidon Moon matchup. That's kind of what pushed me away from Miraidon a little bit at first, was the Miraidon Moon matchup, but. Yeah, as predicted, I didn't think there was going to be a lot of Moon. And, you know, while it was on the top, you know, 6 list, it was only 10%, which is a little bit higher than Miraidon. And, you know, you just kind of, it's a big tournament. You just kind of dodge it. And I didn't hit it the whole tournament. So I also didn't hit Guardy the whole tournament. The most popular deck day 1, the most popular deck
and
day 2.
25% basically.
Like, I don't know how I didn't hit it all day. Like, it's around me every round. There was even an Arceus deck near me. And instead of hitting those decks, I hit Zorobox and DTE Mew. Yeah, both auto losses. So you know, those were a couple of my losses. I was 9-4-2 overall. Felt, you know, going into day 2, I felt really good with the list. I like the list was, you know, it was early in day 1. You know, I'm 2-2 through 4 rounds. I feel like I'm struggling a little bit, but like I'm fighting with the list. I'm, you know, trying to get it to work, and then I went on a heater. I won 4 in a row, and chose to ID the last one just to yeah. You know, I felt like it was just better to ID the last one, because at that point, you know, the money's too much at the ICs, you know.
Oh yeah.
So just getting in day 2, like having a chance to get the top 64 and get that money, get that bag.
Oh yeah.
And boy did I, man. Like day 2, like the heater started. Like round 1, I hit Lugia. I was like sick. We're about to body this guy like so fast.
Yeah.
Like to the point where like he was trying to catch me cheating at any and every moment, because like he knew how bad the matchup was. He's like,
of course,
every 2 seconds, cards in hand, like counting like every little thing I'm doing, you know, because he knows how. And he even tried, you know, something game 2, but the judge was like, "No, like I saw everything. I'm standing right here." So,
yeah.
So I won that one, and then I hit Pedro Bertuzzi round 2. Zard, tough, you know, kind of tough matchup for us. But game 3, I was able to hands his Luminion for game.
Oof.
Yeah. So I was able to like, basically I was able to like knock out his Pidgeot with like 2 cards in hand. I'm like, all right, just take the Raikou. I don't care. Because I'm taking out your draw basically. And then I just fed him single prizes for 2 turns while I got hands ready for boss. So that was why I was able to win that match. It was really, really close though. Hit the mirror match round 12 against Justin Brothers, someone from the United States, really good player. Game 1 and game 3, I went first, never saw path either game. Was fortunate enough to be able to win those games. Game 2, he found path, and I just lost game 2 because of that, like just kind of on the spot. And then round 13, I hit Yuho, the eventual champion, and we had a pretty good set. Game 1 was a really good game. You know, I was able to win it, and he went first. Game 2, found his path. Kind of had a bricky hand, and you know the path bricked me, and he was able to win game 2, and then game 3. Sometimes you know you just draw the nuts, and he was able to draw the nuts game 3 and pull it out, even though you know I went first. But I missed path both game 1 and game 3 again. It's like every game, and even the next round, like in the DTE Mew, when I needed to hit path like turn 1, I just was never able to hit it. And, you know, some of my opponents, you know, they were able to hit it, and it was kind of frustrating. It's like, you know, even looking back at Yuho's list, only plays 2. Like, he didn't draw
Yeah.
any cards game 2 and just like Raw had it in hand. Like when you look back at that, you're like, oh man, that was a very unlucky situation that happened. But congratulations to Yuho. I think Miraidon was a really good call for the tournament. Just dodge the Zards and take a favorable Guardy matchup.
The
And
hands, yeah.
So I think the one matchup that was a good matchup before that's got really close now is like the Tina matchups can be very dodgy. Like you can be up 6-2 and lose real fast. So that matchup's a little scary. But yeah, so after I lost to Yuho, I lost to DT Mew because it's auto loss. And then I just offered a tie to my opponent round 15 because my resistance was really good. I just wanted to guarantee top 64. And if I won that one, I probably would have been top 32. But the money's probably worth, I think it's worth it to, I was happy with my finish at that point. A top 32, while it's a great accomplishment, I didn't need it, and
Right.
Unfortunately, Nathan was able to get 64th on the dot because of opponent's resistance, because my opponent's resistance was so good. What were you saying, Barker? Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, like, this is just a huge chunk of points. Like, I would have ID'd
130.
probably.
Yeah. It was 130 points. Yeah.
$2,000, 2 boxes.
Yeah, it was worth it. I mean, taking a look back at the list, we didn't really play anything spicy. Honestly, I went for maximum consistency. I wanted an extra path. I wanted, enough supporters to get me through the game. The one change we did between Toronto and here, I think, was one less Arvin and one more Iono. Was kind of the big change that we did. Outside of that, just throw the hands in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, we also went up to 12 supporters, right? We were at 11 before in Toronto, I believe.
Yeah. So we went up.
We went to the 4th research and kept the Arvin, and actually I think we went -1 Arvin +1 Iono.
Yeah, that's basically what we did, and we cut Switch Cart for Switch, which was really good. Switch helped out a lot.
The fluffy.
Yeah, and a lot of Miraidon players did do that, just to kind of like we said at the start, a little bit of disrespect to Lost Box. I don't know. Did you even play any Lost Box?
I played Tina. I didn't
play 2 Tinas. Yeah.
Yeah, I played 2 Tinas. I didn't play any regular Lost Box. But yeah, it was respectful to Snorlax and disrespectful to that.
Right.
Couple opponents. Snorlax was around me pretty much the whole tournament. I saw it a good bit. And some of my opponents near me were hitting mirror matches, and I was laughing at them.
Oh, the Snorlax mirror.
Oh boy,
that's fun.
So, but that's what you get when you play a deck like that, And I hit Miraidon mirrors day 2. I hit 2 of them. So
yeah,
and
there weren't even that many in the room. The fact that you hit 2 of them back to back, but also
there's
the fact
7.
that you hit one at 2-0. There were 7. Yeah, I mean, you hit one at 2-0 and you hit another one at 3-0, right? I mean, Miraidon was doing pretty well. I'm sure if we looked at the numbers, comparison to overall, numbers, right? Pretty, actually, I'd be curious to see the conversion rate, but also just the performance in day 2 seemed pretty good.
Yeah. Seemed to lost your video there a little bit, Maddox. Not sure. We can hear you still though.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, yeah. So the list felt good. I don't know if going forward, I don't know what changes I'd make for the meta. I mean, honestly, every card in the list I got value from, even the 1 DTE, just to be able to get the hands early. It was good in a couple of matches.
How many times did you get the turn 1 hands?
Probably 4 or 5.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, if I gotta look back at it, I mean, both Tina matches I got it turn 1. But this is I think it's going not going second. I only got it once going second.
Okay.
But going first, and if I was going for it, I got it 5 or 6 times. Against Chen Pao, I was able to do it. Against Zorobox, I was able to do it. I didn't know the list very well against Zorobox. I made a mistake game 1 that probably would have just won me the game had I done it right. He had just Zorua and just Scyther. And my thought process was that the fighting tech had to be transformed, not evolved from Scyther. I forgot that Cleavor evolved.
Oh, Cleavor. Yeah.
So I handsed the Zorua instead of roping when I had rope.
Okay.
And I could have hands the Scyther. So without doing that, he was able to just easily go get go get Cleaver, attach, KO it right back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Without that, he would have had to like go get Cleaver, discard Cleaver, find Zoroark, find it, reversal, so you had to do a lot more. It was just a matchup I didn't really know. And game 2 was pretty close. I was learning kind of on the fly. So it was just, unfortunate, hit those bad matchups early and it's just tough. But from there on out, I kind of, hit standard matchups, farmed some Chen Pals day 1. I went 3-0-1 and my only 0-1 was the tie.
The tie, yeah.
Yeah. And then, same round 15, I tied against a Chen Pal that I probably could have beat to get top 32, but it's one of those things where Miraidon felt really good because I expected to hit Chen Pal. I expected to hit Guardy. I expected to hit, Mir sometimes. I expected to see Lugia. So like the Miraidon felt really good. Obviously Yuho won. Congratulations to him, and he beat Iron Valiant in the finals. So yeah, that's kind of the run, and it was a great time. I think there's a lot of discussion about LAIC and where it's going in the future and the judges, and I think the judges did a phenomenal job. Like there was some times where like maybe they were doing a little bit too much. So maybe, in Tor's perspective, they could have been doing too much for him. Like for me, I know they came up, I'm botting a Chen Pao player and like the guy's like shuffling, but like I guess he's not adequately shuffling, and they're like, hey man, warning, shuffle better. Basically, like while mid-match while this guy's like getting bodied, and I'm like, oh, I feel bad for this guy right now. But okay, yeah, sure. So the judges were great. They were very knowledgeable. They were always on top of everything. And the venue itself, like inside, was very, very nice. And outside, there wasn't a lot in the area. And, even talking to Pedro, Sao Paulo didn't have a lot to do. That's my only complaint about LAIC is like when I went to Europe, or I went to even, when we went to NAIC, which I'm blanking on the spot, Columbus. Right? Like there's still stuff to do. Like there was a lot of stuff to go and do, and I didn't get that feeling from LAIC. Everyone I asked was like, "There's nothing to do." So
that's probably the most praise given to Columbus as a location for NAIC.
Yeah, probably. But like maybe like Rio or like anywhere else that's like cool, kind of touristy area would be, really cool to see. So
or at least the same city where the Taylor Swift concert's happening.
That would have been dope. Yeah, definitely would have been some good fun parties that night. But yeah, I mean, I did announce Ampu very much a lot.
There you go.
That's what the deck is supposed to do, and it helped a lot. Even against Chen Pao, right? They're trying to offset the prize race by giving you Ninja, and then them doing Ampu very much themselves, right? So their map is knock out Flaffy 90 on the something, and then amp that something for 3 prizes to kind of fix the race. So if they try to do that, you have to boss around it or you have to amp them. So like, it allows you to kind of have that wiggle room there.
Yeah, the ability for you to just take those 2 prizes on a single prizer instead of having to find your boss's orders.
Oh yeah.
Especially,
so good.
Just so often you're having to research away boss early, or you just can't find it, things like that. It just gives you so many more routes from Miraidon. Again, being able to pull out Iron Hands at any time and, oh, hey, look, item card. Let me put 2 energy on Dynamo or attach for swinging.
Yeah. I mean, we can put some chromatics in the list later.
Hey, actually, that list did see some success. Where was that? Where did that first show up? Was that EUIC maybe?
Yeah, I think it was
EUIC when like 801 day 1 or something with the
with the chromatics.
I don't hate it. Go chromatic, go find generator just to like basically flip another coin to see how many energies you get, right?
Well, I think Chromatics should go grab your double turbo now.
Yeah, now you can grab
that.
Yeah.
Just cut Force Seal Stone. It's a bad card.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was the run. Super blessed for the opportunity to be at those top tables, to get that feeling. It's lit a fire under my butt, and I'll be back up there.
Fantastic.
I was ready to make top 8. I was feeling it. Like it was like I felt like that was a tournament. Yeah, it was like right in front of me, man. It was like the support from home, all you guys like messaging me and chatting me, and
I was checking Pokestats every 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean everyone was like supporting me, and I'm so thankful for everyone that sent me a message. Sorry if I didn't fully respond to everyone, right away. But I was trying to stay locked in and focused, and I feel like I played my best. I think I made like one mistake, and that's like the Scyther mistake. And outside of that, I don't think I could have played any better. And yeah, just so thanks to everyone at home that, everyone listening that, sent me a message and some encouragement. I really appreciate it. I felt loved, and we'll be back. Don't worry.
Awesome job, Eric. Real proud of you.
Yeah. But next let's transition to kind of looking at our predictions and our tier list, and look at the results of the tournament, the top 8. Again, congratulations to Yuho, for winning. With Miraidon again, back-to-back tournaments, Miraidon won. It's kind of nutty.
Yeah.
Some pros are finally starting to respect it a little bit now.
Yeah, it looks like Ian Robb wants to go buy the deck, right?
Yeah.
So I guess he's dropping Chen Pao. That's what he said.
I saw that, yeah.
But yeah, so let's look at our predictions real quick. So I asked you guys for a bonus. So this will kind of be our trivia for this week, is to predict the top 5 decks. We should have did 6. I forgot the graphic was 6. So I'm gonna hold you to the 5. Parker, you said Roaring Moon, Chen Pao, Lugia, Guardy, and Zard. So out of that, you hit on Zard, you hit on Guardy, and you hit on Chen Pao, and you hit on Moon. So Parker with 4 out of the 5. Maddox, you said Miraidon, Chen Pao, Mew, Lugia, and Zard. Mew and Lugia were not in the top 5. So Maddox, you hit on 3. So Parker,
let it be said, I had Guardy in the list over Mew.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that.
At the very end, I said, "Hey, listen, okay, Nick's Guardy," because I thought the deck was bad. No, obviously the deck's not bad, but I said I'd rather be wrong with Mew than right without him. So
yeah,
I'm happily wrong with the pink boy.
Yeah. So Parker got 3 points, and we'll be coming up, and I'll review our points.
Finally
next
catching
episode.
up.
Yeah, next episode I'll review the points. I think it's pretty close now with those 3. 3's a lot. So. But yeah, looking at our tier list, back into our tier list, I think in tier 1 we have Chen Pao, Guardy, Mew, Lost Moon, Miraidon, and Charizard EX. So when we look back at the results of the top 8, missing from the top 8 would be Charizard EX is missing, as well as Mew VMAX is missing from our tier 1. And Roaring Moon. So what Roaring Moon is also in Brennan's list, so it's not really missing. So yeah, what do you guys think about our tier list? What would you make any changes to tier 1 based off of the results? And
I think the other decks to mention are that we had Snorlax Doll and Iron Valiant in tier 1.5.
Yeah, towards the top. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was tier 1.
You did.
We'll run back the tape.
The Valiant. That was a valiant guess.
Parker once again proving he's right all the time.
Always. Parker is superior.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the Roaring Moon, right? A lot of people had this pretty high on the list. Again, I know that there were some stance that, hey, there weren't too many top testing groups that really chose Roaring Moon.
Yeah.
Did that have an effect on its results, or just their faith in the deck? Do we feel comfortable with Roaring Moon still being a tier 1 deck?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think it loses the Guardy, which is probably one of its worst matchups, right? And it probably loses the Lost Zone decks, but outside of that, I think it beats Mew. I think it's favored into Miraidon, probably beats Charizard.
Yeah.
Maybe the Chen Pao matchup is iffy. I don't know. I don't know that matchup very much, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not tier 1 anymore. Maybe it's like tier 1.5, where it's like one of those decks that, like, if a group of good players play it and they know their matchups, that it could be a tier 1 deck.
Yeah, I think we might need to see some innovation with the list. Right now, the lists as they are right now are pretty linear. I mean, I think there's the Rating Greninja package, which is interesting but tough to pull off. But I think just the explosive nature of that is good. I think the other part that I've seen some people mention is, do you go like a late game disruption, right? Can you mix in any judge? Can you mix in any judge path type of thing? I think in theory that's cool. The hard part is just to see, can the deck still function the way that it needs to with all of that? Yeah. Or is it just maybe throwing it into Lost Box better?
What do you think about Roaring Moon, Parker?
It's definitely super strong, and I think I mentioned it earlier, it's incredibly easy. You just find the combo pieces and attack. So it's definitely a deck that will forever be popular amongst be popular at cups and mid-table regional playing, but I don't know if there'll be a list that gets cracked that takes it to the next level, where it's top 8ing, top 16ing events and stuff like that. But
yeah,
maybe
another Go ahead.
Maybe it goes down a tier or a half a tier or something.
Another kind of like point I want to like bring back to as we talk about predictions and points of reference. I know Parker at one point you were like, yeah, don't play Miraidon. and
Yes,
you
I
were
was.
and you were kind of down on Miraidon and obviously had a good run with it and it won the tournament. So
Yeah.
what say you now after those results and your previous opinions?
I mean, I'll eat my words there. I didn't think it was a good play. I mean, honestly, obviously, like Iron Hands, fixes some of those like rough matchups. But I thought, like when I played Guardy versus it, like it was close, but I still won every time as Guardy and like Zard. If you knock out with hands, they just knock out your hands with Zard, and it's just like I
Yeah,
don't know. I thought the matchup spread would be a little worse, but I didn't really play many games like as Miraidon, I guess.
yeah. I think you're gonna have to be like Ian Robbins and pick up those cards when you're ready to come back.
Yeah, I have Miraidon fully built except hands, but yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I mean,
also a league battle deck now. If you
it
want to
is a
build the
league
deck,
Oh
battle
yeah,
it's
deck.
yes it is.
comes with the Forest Sealstone in it.
Oh,
It's like $25.
comes with Reggie Lucky VMAX. Remember when we thought that card
Regileckies.
was good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That card was $30 or however much it was.
yeah.
So I think looking at our tier list, the one thing we did hit on, and when you look at the day two conversion, Fusion Mew was 23% conversion rate going to day two. That deck's it's still really good. It's a consistent deck. And I think at these larger major events, you don't see every bad matchup every round, right? You just lose some bad matchups and win the rest. And you convert well. We got Guillotine and V-Star at 21.8%, which is pretty shocking, a conversion rate for me. And then Guardy at 21.4 converting rate. So all those decks converted really well. Next up was Colorless Lugia, 20%, Sable Zard at 20% as well. But yeah, Lugia underperformed, I think, overall.
Did that
Right?
did.
I mean, did we even have a single one in top 32?
I
That's
don't
a good
know.
question.
That is a good question.
I don't think we have a single Lugia in top 32.
Nope. Do we have one in top 64? No, I don't think there is one in top 64.
Really?
Is there one
That's
in
pretty
top one?
shocking.
Okay, well, there's one in 80th place.
80th
Yeah, I was about to
place.
say there's only 134 people in day two. If it didn't make a top 128, that means that all
Yeah.
six Lugias that made it got the bottom.
How
Biggest
funny.
possible way.
How funny would that
Um,
be? They're just playing mirrors at the bottom tables, trying
Oh
to
boy.
fight for their life.
Yeah, and again, I think this was a deck that again we've seen a lot of top players favor, and then really a lot. I don't think any top players are really choosing Lugia. Right? We even saw, Reagan Retzloff, known for his Lugia play,
Lugia.
Yeah.
playing DTE Mew Selgor with the rest of his testing group. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think signs like that are showing just kind of the lack of confidence that a lot of players had with Lugia, and really affected the play rate and the success rate of it. I think
It's supposed to
this
get
past
better.
weekend.
It got Vessel. It has more ways to discard Archeops. How does it not get better?
Yeah, that was what a lot of people talked about. I mean, it just didn't. I don't know if it was just lack of faith in it or just, again, I haven't tested enough with it, but the Earthen Vessel adds some spiciness to it. But again, it's taking a deck that used to be so straightforward. You played Aurora Energies. Okay, now you're playing single strike energies. It only works on some Pokemon. Now we're saying, okay, now we're just gonna play basic
Now we're
energy,
playing.
and
Yeah,
we have to get them
our
into hand and
Vessel
attach them, right? Like Lugia,
Yeah.
which was this optimized machine back in Silver Tempest, just kind of right now the variant people are talking about is probably less consistent than ever.
Yeah.
I want to bring it back to Iron Valiant and Blocklax, right? Both of them made top 8. Do we think they warrant a move from tier 1.5 to tier 1? Let's start with Iron Valiant.
I think Valiant, yeah. Like the deck is just so like straightforward and consistent. Like, yeah, you have to sprinkle some damage counters, but it's like you can multi-prize turn, you can Entei is a big guy, he's got 230 health and like
Well, does he have 230 health or does he have 210?
oh,
230.
yeah, true.
Oh well, after,
with
they
Basin,
never have
yes.
the Magma Basin.
But
They
if
always
you go
get turn 1
first, he has
attachment, Jet
230
Energy.
health.
So
Yeah.
and I was asking, I saw Mahone was playing this on stream recently. Could this deck play Mela? Right? I mean, like it got Mela. So why is it not playing Mela? Is Mela just too slow?
I think with the way the games go, you basically could go like with this deck, you're just, 2 prize, my guy gets knocked out, Basin attach, 2 prize, my guy goes and get knocked out, and like base and attack. Like I don't really think it's needed particularly. I think
Yeah.
I actually when I was playing it, I didn't test chorus at all. I was just like, it's not explosive enough of a supporter. But I mean, I do like that, you lost some of the stuff that you can't get Ionoed into late game and all that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's
remember when the
nice.
list was first played. I tried a little bit a much less optimized version than what was the finalist list, but I was like, hey, this has some explosive potential. I think really just the route of saying, hey, if you play a setup deck, then I'm just gonna Valiant you and ping you to death. Or if you're playing, hey, I'm playing Entane, I'm throwing 200 damage at you any turn with a guy that has 230, 210 HP, and kind of forces you to deal with it. It just prize trades very well. So
Yeah.
I think I'm fine moving it up there again. Just after the success it's seen.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think Snorlax is
Blocklax?
ready for.
Snorlax?
I don't think it's ready for a move up. I mean, it's not. It has good results. I mean, what was it at this tournament? I mean, obviously there's one in top 8, but outside of that, it had 20% conversion rate. Maybe it's a tier 1 deck because of that. But like, it's like, who wants to play a best of 3 mirror? Like, I think nobody wants to play that, right? So, I don't know. I don't think it's very good, but it is a deck.
Fair enough.
If
I
you're
guess
scared of it, just play many or effective classes and you're fine.
Yeah.
Last
the block
question for the
lax
tier
tech.
list.
Yeah.
There you go. The for any Rogue fans that might be listening, we had a Cloth and a Zorobox make day 2.
Tier
They're in
3.
Tier 3 decks, and I mean, I didn't see Palkia of a Barrel, I didn't see Regigigas, I didn't see Golden Go in day 2.
Not a single golden go in day 2. Not one.
That
Does
just
Cloth and
wasn't really
Zorobox,
talked that
do
much about.
they warrant a move up potentially?
I don't think so, honestly, but all of you weekend warriors out there, that is your inspiration. That is
There you go.
play Cloth at League.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to lose the Guardy, play Cloth. If you want to beat everything else, play Cloth. I don't think it has any bad matchups outside of like DTE Mew and Guardy. It attacks every other deck well. Maybe Lugia is maybe a bad one. I don't know. But I could see it being tier 2. I think it's better than Lost Gudra. I think it's better than Arcdura and Regigigas. Seeing it
Who
around
just made
me.
top 8 for 2 regionals in a row?
Yeah, where was it this tournament, man?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, nowhere. I'm not even sure if it was played, but who knows? So if you're listening and you played Gudra to this tournament, let us know. Was it good? Was it bad? I assume it was bad. But just let us know.
No, they went. I'm sure there's someone out there that went 6-0 and then
Lost
no 6-0 and then had to leave the tournament, right? They went back home. They had late they had to do their homework, something like that. They went 6-0. They're sitting at 18 points. They said, that's good enough.
Yeah. So I think Cloth deserves a move up. And I don't know if it's to 1.5 or 2. It's probably just a 2.
Just
2.5.
Yeah, it's 2.5.
2.5.
And I think me and Maddox, we've played Zorobox a bit, recently, and I think it's still good. It's not a bad play. I don't know the matchup spreads well enough to kind of say that, but I saw a lot. I mean, I've people I talked to, like even the guy Fabricio that got 9th lost to a Zorobox.
Mariana, too much.
Yeah,
the original Mew killer.
True.
So, Cleaver is just too much. And, that's just how it goes. The deck I really, really talk about, and on our tier list, we have it in tier 2. And it finished in like 9th place or 10th place or something. Is this Rapid Strike deck. And the biggest changes, and I'm very happy with this, is they put a Squawk in finally. They finally decided to put a Squawk in the deck. Because God, that deck bricks too much. They cut the Drapions because Drapion's bad and Mew's dead.
Famous last words.
And
and
they added the TM Devolution tool.
Evolution and
Parker, you've been playing this deck a good bit. Talk about it. Like, what do you think about those changes?
I actually didn't even realize that that's this high of a placing.
He was at table 1 towards the end of day 1. He was
Wow.
like, I mean, I'll have to look at his Poké stats, but I remember talking to him and he was like towards the top tables. He went 1, 2, 3, 401, 5, 6, 7. He went 8, 1, 1. No,
Wow.
7, 1, 1, excuse me. That's
Yes,
not up.
I
So,
don't know.
so he went 7, 1, 1 day one. And then and proceeded to hit Mew round 10, Mew round 11.
The
And
disrespect.
still got 10th. I mean, honestly, right?
Yeah.
If he doesn't hit one of those Mews,
Yeah.
we're probably talking about Rapid Strike in top 8.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what's so
So
wild.
yeah, so he
Actually.
lost those two and then one out. So what do you think? I know like you haven't been on Squawk for a while. You're like, nah, that's not a good idea. I really like the devolution tool. You put 140
Oh,
on
yeah.
something, right? And then
Yeah.
devolve it. So good.
No, yeah, that's broken. Yeah, I like that. I'm looking at the list now. I mean, it looks, a little bit less consistent than I guess like maybe the original ones were. I guess with the addition of Squawk though, it's pretty decent. I think they upped the water energy too,
Yeah,
just
7.
to find the quick shooting. No energy search, so I guess that was the cut.
Well, they have Earthen Vessel.
No
No,
vessels.
no vessel.
Really? Wow.
That seems like a car that could go well in here too, but yeah, I mean, looking at the list, super cool. I don't know about the one Iono, but I guess you kind of go from like, play. You probably need to play 2 supporters, and you can probably finish out the game.
Yeah.
Is it playing a counter catcher or boss?
No, none
No.
of that. Nope.
Just devolve anything. I mean, right?
Yeah,
You go put 80 on a bunch of Charizards and devolve. See ya.
Yeah, he was doing well. He played Lost Tina at table 1, and beat it.
Yeah.
So yeah, congrats to Fasundo Facio. I met him. He was a very nice guy. And I like the list. It's very, very good, unique innovation. And
Yeah.
outside of that, any other things? We have there was a Kyogre there. That's right. I remember this guy. 44th. Let's take a look at his list. It was a very interesting list. I remember it being something I wanted to look at afterwards. So let's take a look at this list. Yeah, so he had
Played
Iron Hands in
Lost Box Kyogre.
Lost Box
One
Kyogre.
DTE.
Yeah, so 1 DTE, Iron Hands, 1 counter catcher, 2 vacuum, 2 recycler, 2 rod. Kind of low. You got to be careful with that.
That's
But
low, yeah. That's really low.
well, I mean, it's only 1 less, right? It used to be 3-2, right?
That one makes a difference though, yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely does.
Well, I mean, look at it like this. If you can pull off an early Iron Hands, then you can just sit back and wait for your Kyogre turn.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like
You just Sableye, a couple sprinkle, and then just Kyogre, yeah.
like, they go like, you go Iron Hands, Mary, then you just say, okay, now I have 4 turns until I have to Kyogre 2 Miraidons for game. Like,
Yeah.
like not bad, honestly.
Yeah,
So I do think that Lost Box with Iron Hands is strong, just because again it's a deck that can power it up quickly. I think Double Gate is just going to make it tricky. That's why I like the double turbo in there. But again, just a deck that can get Iron Hands quickly, something you got to watch out for.
always. Yeah. So that was a spicy list. There was another guy. I don't think he made day 2.
With Kyogre.
Yeah. No, there was somebody playing, and I want to look at. I'll find the guy and I'll find the list. He didn't make it. But he's playing the Hoopa EX with Moon. So playing Lost Box
Double.
Moon with Hoopa EX, and so double dark, 50
Yeah.
damage for each energy on your opponent's active, and it's a terrestrialized fighting type.
It's fighting, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Spicy.
so it was spicy, and he was doing pretty well. I think he must have like just missed day 2. I think I'll have to find him because I do want to see his list, and I think it's interesting. It's maybe mini order with super effective is just better.
Maybe.
Because of 2 prize liability, right? So
Yeah.
we'll see how the meta shapes up going forward. I'm very interested to see what happens, this weekend in Europe, as well as in San Antonio. So any other thoughts about LAIC results or tier list?
No, I mean, like I said, Guardy would perform well. I think a lot of people knew Guardy would perform well.
Yeah.
And it definitely did. So
I think anyone going to locals this next week or so has to be ready for Entei or Iron Valiant to flip over in front of you.
That
I've
Yeah.
seen so many people talk about this list, people picking up the cards, people asking in chats, hey, who has 2 Enteis, who has 2 Iron Valiants?
yeah, you
I
gotta
mean,
you gotta
really,
bench
really
2
cool
little
list.
guys now.
Yeah, start benching them early. It's cool to see, right? The big innovation like this, and again, just the community really jumping behind a brand new list and wanting to explore it. And it'll be cool to see, right? We have simultaneously, hey, Guardy is still clearly a powerful deck and had a great showing, and also, hey, Iron Valiant's running around, so kind of one beats the other, but one beats everything else. So it makes it kind of tricky, an interesting meta dynamic now for sure as we head into I think there's actually 2 regionals this weekend, one in Brisbane as well, Australia and Europe.
Gantz, right?
And then,
Gantz or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, my final thought is that the format's in a healthy place, and that while Gardevoir probably is the best deck in format, there's a lot of decks that counter it pretty hard.
Yeah.
I was even, testing with, some people on Sunday, and we were testing some Guardian and Miraidon matchup, and it was just tough for them, Yes, they can beat it, but it's tough. You get turn 1 hands, turn 2 hands. It's, it is tough. And so, well, congratulations, Yuho. Awesome LAIC event. I loved it. I definitely will be going back next year. Hopefully it's in a better spot. But I did have a good time. And
congrats again to our own Eric Ridgway for his fantastic showing. Represent the Beach Court podcast and all of 904 Duval.
Yeah. So it was funny at round 8 when I hit Yuho, or round 13 when I hit Yuho, we were at table 8, and right next to us was the stream table, and I was like, dang it.
Ooh.
Well, they're not gonna stream a Miraidon mirror. Come on, like if
I mean, it's what the people vote for.
But I think Grant Shin was the Grant Shin matchup versus Miraidon.
He just breaks out of his mind.
Yeah, and like if I'd hit Grant Shin, then could have been on stream. Who knows? But yeah,
you'll get your time.
We'll get our time. We'll get the Beach Court podcast on there, and
of course.
We got it on there twice this weekend. We got two pictures on there. So, but yeah, outside of that, that's all we have for our discussion. Next up is our interview with Jared Grimes. Again, he's the owner of PokeStats Live. And we'll talk about his Chen Pal deck and his top 128 finish. Hey everyone, I'm joined by Jared Grimes, owner and creator of PokeStats Live, the app we all know, love, and use at major tournaments now. He's made all of our lives better. We appreciate you, Jared. I don't know how you do it. You compete and you kind of work on the side while you're out there. And you've been on a tear the last 5 months since the release of Chen Pal and Baxcalibur. So, welcome, Jared. Glad to have you. Let's talk about the Snow Leopard, man. How you been? How was LAIC for you?
Let's do it. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. LAIC was, I'll get to some of the more interesting points, I guess, later, but it was definitely very, very awesome to play against so many, like, just super high caliber players. And especially across, the world, like, you don't get to play against like those people a lot of times. Like, I've never been in the world, so it's like kind of cool to get to play against people like that aren't at like LAIC or any of the regionals, especially of that high caliber. And also like their play styles were like very different, which was interesting. Like one of my opponents just went really greedy on like Miraidon. I was like, that's really interesting to do at an IC, but like if that paid off for you, I don't know how I would win. So it was fun.
I mean, that's Miraidon in a nutshell, right? You just go full greed every game, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's jump into it. You got top 128, I think 82nd place, 81st place. Yeah. Somewhere around there. Talk about your highlights of your finish and how your run went.
Yeah. So I would say so day one was actually I started off super strong 501, and then I hit I got streamed again, and I was like, everyone was like, I was like, I'm stream cursed. And everyone was just like, nah, you got it this time. And then I just got like turn 1 yoga loop 2 games.
You got the worst matchup to get streamed.
Yeah, I know. Literally, the only matchup in the whole room. I was like, I think I just lose to this. They like put him on stream? I was like, no way. But so that happened, and then I lost the next game because I used like Pokestop a second time because I used Pokestop and it did like 5 million things, and I went Pokestop and he was like, wait, and I'm just like, oh my God, which wasted the series. So I had to have a win in the day 2 after a 501. But we got there, and we got there. I would say that match was like a highlight because that was against Miraidon. and it was super close. My opponent was really, really good. Shout out to him. And yeah, I had a couple games day 2 that were like super solid. I played against Pedro, which was super solid. Unfortunately, it was just kind of like, I'm pretty sure it was like just a heat in combination with like the medication I'm taking. Like apparently it like increased the internal temperature, like my internal body temperature. So like with the heat, it was like I was just really loopy and like I couldn't like see straight. And I got to a point where I thought I had like, there was this one game I thought I had 2 backs prized, and I looked through my deck like 5 times because I was like, there's no way. And then I was like, I guess I do have both prizes because I can't find them. And then like within a few turns, I didn't draw off the prizes, so I just scooped and then flipped over my prizes. It wasn't there. I was just like, oh my god. So it was just there were so many moments like that. I don't know what it was. Like maybe because I was so far away from home and because it was so hot, but I was just like, it was my first like I see that wasn't in the US. So I feel like just because of that and then the heat and everything. But I think I did really well considering, like I think considering all those like downfalls, I think I did super well. Paradox Rift was also really interesting to play in. Like nobody knew what the deck lists were for any of the archetypes. So I really enjoyed that for sure. And I think I handled it like as well as I could have, considering all of the horrible circumstances.
Did you know that you were playing against Iron Valiant when you went on stream, or
I had no idea. I can't remember if oh yeah, because that's so I actually, fun little Easter egg, I guess. Well, not that fun, but I actually don't like, I don't want people to be able, because Valiant is like, I don't put the like this like the lower tier decks, I guess, like on Pokestats, because I've had a lot of people like misreporting and like doing the meme like, oh, I'm playing this, and especially the Donzo, right? But then I've had cases of people like not maliciously, but like intentionally misreporting so that it can go first or second in a matchup. And so Valiant specifically, I'm like, I don't want anyone to be able to report this. I wasn't going to, because it was such a like a lower rogue deck, archetype. Like people would just meme about that anyways. And if you're playing Iron Valiant, you can reach out to me. I can see you and I'll report it. It's fine. But like because of that, it was like, I don't think it was on Pokestats. Like, I don't think my opponent reported it. Oh wait, no, never. I'm so stupid. That was day 1.
Yeah, day 1 you wouldn't know from Pokestats.
No, there was no way. Yeah, there was no way I would have known anyway. I don't know why I went on that the whole thing. Yeah, I was.
So you went in blind. Did you bench 2 things going first, or like I didn't watch the match?
Oh, I bet some stuff. Yeah, I bet some stuff, but I went first. But it was just like my hand was nothing. I like had no nest block. I think I had like 1 Frigibax. I had a Ninja. I got really nothing. And then he like went turn 1 Yoga Loop and then like roped out and then killed it. And then so I was just like, I'll just go to game 2. Hopefully I'll have a better hand. And I didn't. Well, I had slightly better. I got out Frigibax. I started Bidoof, which I hated.
Yeah, because 60 HP.
60 HP. Yeah. So then I got a Chimpao. I got like a Rad Ninja and a Frigibax 70 HP. And I thought I was good. But then he goes 20, or he went
2020 Yoga Loop. Right?
2020, but then also 20 on the 70 HP, Yoga Loop the Bidoof, and then
2020
triple ping 2020 kill Frigibax, rope kill or like I promoted Ninja, whatever. He kills it. I have a chip power in the active spot, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, that's the deck, man. When it pops off, it was
really so impressive. I was like, wow.
So I see you played Brennan Kemmerman round 3. He got top 8 with Lost Box Charizard with a Roaring Moon, and you were able to beat that deck. Seems like a tough matchup for you. I mean, he's got Roaring Moon and Charizard. How were you able to overcome that?
So I actually went into the event because I actually hit quite a few Sablezards at late night prior to the event, and I was actually like really confident in Sablezard going in. So I played against him. I actually didn't know he was playing. I didn't know he was playing at all. He started Roaring Moon, so I thought he was playing Roaring and went second. So I thought he was playing Roaring Moon, and then he Pokestops Mills Comfy Cram. I go, what? And then so I bench Manaphy because I think I failed to get the Baxcalibur turn 2, and then I see him attach a Fire Energy, and I was just like, what? What is this guy playing? I had no idea.
You had no idea.
But so I like my bench I was bench locked out of the second barrel, and so he ended up he had a Roxanne in the lost on game 1. So I think I'm safe. Like I think I win this because really that matchup is just you get out hands and they need to insta respond. So he insta responded with Zard. And then I think I'm safe because my hand's great. He plays Iono. I'm like, what? He played the one Iono, the one Roxanne. So he Iono me, sniped the bib, and I go, okay. I top deck nothing. I'm like, all right, we'll go to game 2. And so I knew he was playing Zard, did bench the Manaphy. I think one of the games he had like a super slow start. And then I think the game 3, the game 3 was interesting because I think he was able to get like Zard Gate immediately responding to hands. Because I think I got hands turn 2.
Yeah, he's
he
playing
got
4 gate,
Zard.
so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I did not know that either. So I killed the Comfy. I killed the Comfy. He went Radzard. I go Ninja the Radzard. He not only gets Super Rod, Nest Ball Radzard, Gate on Radzard, he gets Counter Catcher on my Chien-Pao before playing a supporter. And I'm like, that is insane. I still won that game. I think I
don't know how.
I think I like saved my rope the entire game, so I was able to like kill the Charizard once more. I don't think he was able to find Roxanne, or if he did, I had a second bib or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he just didn't find it. And then and I just won because I had 2 prizes left and an Iron Hands, like not in my active. So or something like that. But yeah, it was really like it was really fun. Both of my Radzard matches were a lot of fun. And obviously props to him. He's a super good player.
Yeah. I love it. That's a great list, spicy. So yeah, great run, great finish, 28 points. You know, for 81st place. I mean, these events, man, 28 points nowadays, it just doesn't get you anything. It's kind of crazy. But let's talk about Chien-Pao. We've heard a lot about kind of like the optimal 60 Twitter, right? Everyone's like, this is my optimal 60. So was yours optimal, and what changes would you make going forward?
I will never say my list is optimal. I don't know what I would have to be on to say the people who are saying it, man. I don't know. Like top 64, man. I don't know if that's optimal. You know what I mean? But like, I wouldn't even say mine is optimal. I will say, I think out of all of them, I like the Azul Jishen list a lot. I think I tested the triple rod, the double Iono, and then the bundle over the rope. Like all changes that I think the rod makes the deck like always just be able to hit rod. The bundle makes you always able to have the rope out. And the second Iono is really nice because you're not playing a supporter a lot of the time. And just being able to play supporter, Iono at any point in the game is amazing for the deck. You can get a fresh hand if your early hand is bad, or late game, you can, even if it's to 1, you can bib up and you're just absolutely fine with that. So I think that as far as the counter catcher rope combo goes, I think Azul's list is optimal. But it's interesting to see Ian Rob just be like, my list is optimal.
I mean, I think cross switchers are really good.
I do think cross switchers are really good. It's just interesting when you think about the counter catcher rope package serves a specific purpose of being able to map your prizes as efficiently as possible. You can kill whatever's in the active, and if you are unable to take 2 prizes, you can rope. And if they send up something big, you put up Chien-Pao, and if it's something small, then you put up Iron Hand. So you're always able to take 2 prizes. And I think what the cross switcher allows you to do is sort of still have that theme, but actually allow you to pick out pieces. And if they are having a rough time setting up, like Guardy maybe only has like a couple routes down, you're able to like pick that out. But that's, you have to have the cross switchers early game. And when playing Jishen's list before Paradox, I didn't love how like I'd have 2 cross switcher in my hand, and I'm like, well, I don't really need these right now, but it's also 2 cards in my hand I can't draw with Bibberol. So like, not super my play style, I guess, but I will have to test Ian Rob's list. I cannot say for sure if that is better than the counter catcher escape rope. I tested a little bit, but
I mean,
much.
It can't be that good because he said he's never playing it again. So
I just think Chien-Pao bricks a lot, and it's like there are so many times you just feel like hopeless, like I can't do anything. But he's gonna go on the next game.
Let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about why Chien-Pao bricks, in my opinion, right? This is my novice deck builder in me, right? Basic staples of decks are built around a really strong set of supporters. You've got 10 to 20 supporters in each deck, depending on the deck, so that way you can consistently get through your deck. The Chien-Pao deck's only playing like 5 to 6 at most, maybe a boss here and there, maybe a second Iono to be spicy. They don't play Luminion, no consistency to find it, no Poke Gears to hit off Pokestop to find it.
I ran a Poke Gear. But...
Okay, you ran a Poke Gear. But most people don't, right? There's like no consistency cards to find it. So what makes Chien-Pao so special to see this much play and success with that little amount of supporters? And what advice would you give people wanting to try to play this deck to like up that consistency?
So I think that the way that the deck works with Bibarel is quite interesting because you have a very high payload to reach Baxcalibur, but once you hit Baxcalibur, all you really need is like superior energy retrievals. Like that's because once you have the Baxcalibur, you sometimes you don't even need a ton of them because you have the ability in Shen Pao to search for energies as well. So it's like the deck is like without the Bibarels, it is like a well-oiled machine. And with the Bibarels, like with superior energy retrieval discarding 2 cards from your hand and Ultra Ball also discarding 2 cards from your hand, you probably see without like once you get set up, obviously, you are seeing probably like an upwards of like 10, 12 cards every turn. You go like Bib, Shiver Chill, Conceal cards, like you're seeing a lot of cards. And so I think that I think going back to, well, why doesn't this play any supporters? I think that it's just that like the deck needs the superior energy retrievals. It needs the super odds. The cards that it needs, like you kind of need them in your hand. So you can't really play something like research. If you start like 2 SCRs, you can't. I played research in a few of my lists and I lost games because I would research away like 4 energy and then I would just run out of energy because like every resource in that deck is extremely important. So that limits you out of research. I played an Arvin at Fort Wayne and Toronto because I was playing the Rodon version. So grabbing that 4 Seal Stone, I was looking at other supporters. I think some people like Zinnia's Resolve, but I think that the main reason it doesn't play a lot of supporters is that you pretty much don't need that much to operate once you are set up. So like once you play 1 Irida, you're set up and you already draw 2. So you draw 2 cards off of Greninja. And if you have 1 Bibarel, you're already drawing like an additional 3. So you're already drawing 5 cards every turn. It's just like if you run like 4 Iono, for example, like it just kind of clunks. And then at that point, you can't like burn cards for Bibarel. Like you're not drawing up a bunch. So I think that like, I don't know, there's just so many good item cards. And I think that's why Pokestop is included too.
Right.
And again, it just feeds into the theme of like burning cards just so you can draw up with Bibarel, rip it with stop. But yeah, I don't know. I've considered putting in more supporters for sure. But
so specific question, how was Vessel? Was Vessel good?
Vessel was Vessel's like the I don't know. Vessel's kind of like the most mid good card. It's really good. It's good. I don't know. It's good. It's like,
I mean, is it better than a second Pokegear or is it better than like a Pal Pad to get your Iridas back off Pokestop?
So again, like once you wait, so this is a Pokegear one. I played Pokegear. I think I played it like 8 or 10 times. I hit like the first 3 or 4 and then didn't hit another one like the rest of the tournament. So I just don't like it because I don't like playing a dead card. And then for Pal Pad, like, so like once you get to a point, you've actually like kind of deck yourself out, if that makes sense. Like you only have like 10 cards in your deck if you're cranking through, and it's like the only cards in your deck are like super rods and superior energy retrievals, or at least they should be. And so it's like if you shuffle an Iridas, it's just like, okay, I got like if I get Iono to 1, right, and then I have Bib draw 4, Ninja draw 2 more, like I'm gonna hit the Irida. Like I'm gonna always.
That's what they always say until they don't hit it, right? I mean,
no, you should hit it. Like you should definitely hit it. I think that the only like, and again, you just need to get your double Bib out. It's a very setup dependent deck. I just think that like, again, if you just add more supporters, that does increase the raw chance of hitting it early game, which is why I like the second Iono. But I feel like any more than like 6 supporters is like, because if you ever have double supporter in your hand, it's like, I'm going to chuck 1. I'm going to chuck 1 off of SCR. If I've chucked Irida before. I'm not scared to do that. If I have a good setup, it's either like SCR or Irida. I'm keeping the SCR because I need that. Like it's important.
Yeah, interesting. So thanks for the perspective there. Thoughts on LAIC as a whole? I know you had some tweets about the judges doing great and, some issues outside the venue. Just as a whole, how do you feel about LAIC went? And, everyone's like, should it stay? Should it go? I mean, obviously it has to stay, right?
I haven't really seen I haven't really seen people saying it shouldn't go. I've just seen people saying like people are saying it shouldn't go. I'm like, I haven't seen it. Anyways, so first the judges, I think that like in my experience, they were super like, they knew what they were saying, and like I feel like in US a lot of times are like, they need to like ask the head judge, ask this, right. And like in Brazil they all just like, this is the ruling, and I'm like, okay, cool. But I feel like like they have to be harsh on like some things because I obviously just like hear stories about it, like where the opponent like is like, well, actually this thing that happened that didn't happen, and the judges are like, oh, you're right, so this is a game loss. So I think that it could definitely be exploited, and like people do, I guess, cheat and exploit that. But I think as a whole, and I think I talked to folks as well, and they like apparently it used to be way worse, and now it's like getting better.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my opinion on that. Outside of going to the like discussion of like should they keep LAIC? So that's an interesting one because I think one of the first tweets I saw about that was like, well, like people's phones are getting stolen, which is why they're saying you should cancel LAIC. So for some perspective, right? It's a little bit of perspective. So I was after day 2, I kind of had a rough day. I was walking back to convention center. 5 minutes like outside, I was like on my phone. My phone flew out of my hand and some biker hit me, and I was like, oh, like what an idiot, you know? So like when I go and picked it up, I was like, check my phone, like, God, this idiot is like flying across the street. And as I was texting that, my phone was gone. Like I like blinked and it was gone, and the biker guy was way ahead of me. So I just primal instinct just start sprinting. I was like, yo, get back here. I was sprinting, trying to chase him down. I don't know why I was trying to tackle him. I don't know, but I wasn't even close. So
You're a small guy. I don't know how that's gonna go, Jared.
I was sprinting. I don't know what I was trying to do, but so I eventually realized I couldn't get a hold of him. I like found some like security guards or whatever, no English, so nearly impossible to speak with them. And it like that entire night I was just like, I don't know, like because I can buy another phone. Like it's not like for me that's not a problem, and I'm like I'm fortunate that isn't a problem for me. That like I can just get another phone, but like it was just kind of like what? Like people can just like do
like that
that
can happen in like New York, and that can also happen. We're going to New Orleans, right? Like,
but like
New Orleans,
somebody on a
we know
bike,
it's like that in New Orleans.
if somebody in New York City like in like normal where I would like walk like midtown, maybe in like I don't know about other parts of New York, but like if somebody like flies on a bike and snatches my phone in midtown and I start running like a maniac, like, yo, give it back, somebody's gonna do something. Like somebody's gonna gotta call the police. You know, like you can't get away with that. You know, not in Brazil. No one cared. Nobody.
Well, you know some of these cities these days, they are getting away with it. So I mean, yeah,
but it's a lot more
feel
common
like
in Latin America for sure.
Like obviously Brazil and Latin American community, they need this event. It's very important to them. And I had a great experience, and it sounds like everyone I talked to mostly had a great experience. Yeah, I mean I
had a great experience overall. I'd probably say that I was the one with the least like the worst things that, because it was probably like a lot of things that happened were just like very, I guess, like traumatizing in a way. But even after all of that, I am like just advocating for LAIC because like this thing is so important. Like Christopher Szymanski was saying as well, like just the energy in that like area is insane. Like the chants, like ole ole, it was like honestly, it was like something I never would have dreamed would happen in Pokemon, and it made me just love the game so much. Just how hype everyone was.
I mean, the awesome. Pokemon Go was hype.
Oh, TCG was hype too. Were you there for like top finals?
Not for finals. No.
Oh my god, it was like well, I wasn't super close for the Masters, but for juniors and seniors, like I was in there and the camera was paired on us, and we're like Iron Man.
That's good. Hey, that's good.
It was sick.
Yeah, I definitely think we should keep it. I would love to see it in a different location.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to get better, you know, depending on where it is. But like, you know, selfishly, I want to explore the rest of Brazil and Latin America. You know, I want to go see some other cool you know, I played Pedro also. I talked to him. Pedro's like, yeah, there's nothing to do here.
That's why I talked to other people. Like, so I talked to someone from Chile, and he was just like, yeah, I hate coming to Sao Paulo. I was like,
what do you mean there's nothing to do here? I mean, okay, sure.
I didn't really see it much. There's like a mall and like a grocery
store.
Like,
so let's move on from LAIC and let's get into your, I don't know how you want to call this, your hobby, your side gig.
Side hustle.
Yeah, your side hustle, man. Like, you know, I see you between rounds, you're vlogging, you're going and fixing PokeStats things that are happening. And I know you were working with Twin Leaf a while back, and you recently, you know, announced that you left that team. And Dan TDM was on Uncommon Energy last week talking about Twin Leaf and showing off kind of the manual version and what's coming soon, talking about some, you know, obviously some legal issues that are there and how they're kind of dealing with them. Obviously the community is really excited for something like this, right? We need a way to practice and test decks, efficiently. That's not Pokemon TCG Live.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about Twin Leaf now, after you kind of hear those comments and where they're going, and you feel like they're heading in the right direction, and what led you to step away from the team?
Yeah, so I I should have watched the podcast. I did not watch, so if I repeat anything, I'm sorry. But so yeah, basically like the direction they're heading it, and it was like very transparent, or like from the beginning, we kind of all like agreed kind of what we wanted to do with this. But this was kind of before all the legal stuff. I don't know how much Dan said, but I won't say a whole lot. But basically, um, basically like legal came after us like very early on. Like we didn't even we're like Twin Leaf, and then they're like, nope, shut it down. And like we're like, we didn't even do anything. Like, so there was like this whole and like I worked on it super like I worked on it a lot earlier on, and there was this whole period, I would say like 2-3 month like limbo, where it was like nobody was really doing anything, yet there was still kind of like this stress to hit a deadline. And then it was like, and then people were like talking about ways to like, oh well, maybe we can do this, and then maybe we can get around it like this, maybe we can get around it. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, but if we try to get around it and it doesn't work, like I just didn't want to be, I don't want to take any chances.
The risk,
And
yeah.
the risk. And then like also like I think he showed the manual simulator, the manual simulator
Yeah.
for the beta. Yeah, so you had to like upload, did you have to upload like images or something?
Yeah, you're saying like you could upload images and stuff, but like, yeah, everything's just like a blank, a
Yeah, a
blank
blank. That's
card
how,
with wording on it.
right, yeah. So that's like how you have to do it, because like you can't have the IP in the actual program, because like that's what Pokemon like.
Yeah, that's their copyright.
That's the thing. It's the IP. Yeah. So like if we don't have it, then it's like this is how like Madden works. Like you just upload the NFL teams. This is how what's it called? Pixelborn, I think, the Lorcana simulator. That's how that works. Like you have to make your zip file and you have to do all the jazz yourself. And the way that I was like envisioning it, and the way I really want it to be, was like, all right, people don't like live, and I want to make it like just seamless, like easy to use, seamless, because like as much as people complain about live, it's like it does a lot right that
It
people
does. Yeah, no, it
people
does.
don't, yeah, because people only say what's wrong about it. But then it's like when I was making it from scratch, I'm like, oh my god, there's a lot of work to do. So I was really just like turned off by the whole idea of like, oh well, we could just say to, hey user, you have to compile the images and upload them. And I'm like, I play Lorcana, I didn't even want to do that for Pixelborn. Like I haven't set up Pixelborn, and I'm just like, I'm fine with that, because I'm like, I'm not gonna do all this work. And I'm just like, and I get that there's like a niche, like the competitive niche and like the coaching niche that I feel like would use Twin Leaf. I really like coding stuff that I'm super passionate about and that I would want to use myself, and that like I would, and it's just like the uploading stuff. And so and that plus all the legal stuff, I was just like, I was stressing about it every day, and I'm like, I don't want any part of this. But then right after I left, I think that's when they got like legal clearance to use like the uploader thing. Great timing, I guess.
Good, yeah, good. I mean, good for them, right?
I mean, yeah, good. That's why I was like, good for them.
It's good for all of us. It's good for the community.
It's good for
right?
me. Yeah, right. It's good for everyone. Right. So like I'm happy for them, and I think they're definitely headed in the right direction. Like I'm happy
Good.
they got the clearance. And stuff like that. And yeah, I don't want to get into too much, but like, yeah,
of course.
I didn't work super well. I didn't like, I'm used to like Amazon and Microsoft with like these like, I guess software engineering teams with like these like gurus, like literal gurus, and like just like such a fine, well-oiled machine. And I guess I didn't realize how different it would be with like Dan TDM roping together 4 people and like, let's do it. And,
yeah.
So like I'm trying, and Jake Your Heart is doing something completely different, and then this person's doing something completely different. I'm just like, I was convinced. I was like, we're not even gonna finish this. And then they whip up the beta, and I'm like, well, I'm glad. I'm glad I was wrong. Like I'm glad.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
I get your feelings of wanting to be perfect. It's gonna be, I'm a product owner in the IT world myself. So I get the whole like, let's get an MVP, let's get something that works, and then let's make it better.
Yeah,
I totally understand that.
It's just never going to get around the IP issue though. Like it's always, then that's like the thing that kind of set me off, because I'm just like, I'm just like, there's no way that you're gonna be able to have this where you click or you type in twin leaf whatever, and then it's like Pokemon. Nope, it's not gonna do that because it can't do that because it's like legal. Like, you can't do that.
Legally
So
can't.
that
Yeah.
but like you gotta upload a couple things, and I think for the group of people, I think it's fine. But it's just like I was just like, I feel like I could just work on Pokey stats. Like I feel like I could just work
Yeah.
on that stat. But
Cool. So let's talk about Pokestats. What's next? What's coming? What's new? We're using it right now. I can, I say this with a kind heart. I love it and I use it, but the desktop version is very mobile. So what are your plans? What you cooking?
it's, okay, I didn't know that was a complaint. Okay, yeah, so it is very mobile because I figured most
Because we
people
use
would
it, right? We use it mobile. I get it.
I figured
Right?
most people would use it on mobile, and most people do use it on mobile. I think like several times I was just like, should I optimize it for desktop? And I looked at how many people were actually using it on desktop, and I'm like, or I could just make cooler things. It's like,
Yeah.
or I could just make cooler things.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of an easy fix to make it like desktop friendly. So I definitely could do that. I was thinking, so I'm just like thinking of ways to make it like, I guess like easier to use and like more informative. So like a good example is like, if you go to a tournament right now, if you click on a tournament card, you can scroll down a little bit and then you can see the match point tiers. You can see like what record makes top 16, what record bubbles top 32, what record is guaranteed to make 64, and you can toggle on and off match points. And the reason I made that feature is because I found myself asking that all the time when I was at like Sacramento regionals. I was scrolling in the standings and like, where's the cutoff? Where's the cut? Like I was like jumping back to random tournaments and like, where's the cutoff? And I was trying to find it manually with my eye. And then now with this new feature, I can just scroll down and be like, okay, that's what the cutoff for this tournament historically was. So I think that feature, I hope a lot of people use this feature. Now that I'm saying it, I guess like it's a little bit far down.
Well, I can say I didn't use it, so I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah,
I definitely
no,
didn't.
I need to make it higher up on the page too. That's another thing. Discoverability as well.
Yeah.
Make it higher up on the page. And yeah, so you can see that. And so yeah, it's just making it faster, easier to use. Really recently, it's just been because Julian, the like creator of Pokedata, actually like just quit Pokemon. And so the entire back end was gone. I was using his stuff for everything. And so I had to remake it essentially. So he had his code. I could have copied his code, but I don't know if you remember using Pokestats a little bit ago. It would be like a few second delay every time you like load the standings, and that was because it was pulling it from Pokedata and the way that he was doing it. So I said, okay, let's just refactor the whole back end. Let's push it to my database, and it'll make it like super fast retrieval. And so now the site's even snappier than it was before. So I'm super happy that I did that. But that's
good. Yeah,
kind of been what the energy's been out recently. I also made the I don't know if you knew about this. There's an event locator in Pokestats.
Yes, I do use that.
Great. Okay, awesome. Yes.
Yeah,
so
the event locator is great.
Yeah, it's in the events tab. It's a lot of people requested it because it was on Pokedata, and I actually use it myself now, which is kind of cool. But yes, there's anything if like again, I'm just like full believer of like whatever people are gonna use, whatever real people are gonna use, like I'll do it. And it's like I'm trying to pull in this. So like an idea that I have that I know for sure I'm gonna do is some way to what I told you about like match points. Like you can go back and see what match points made top 16, top 8, etc. for these tournaments, but well, I have to find one with a similar number and the tie rate and stuff like that. Well, what if there was something that could predict it, right? What if there was something that could, off of past tournaments, off of the tie rate, something like that? Now, I don't want to use AI. I probably won't use any like advanced AI. I'll probably just use like regression to be like, okay, well, these tournaments did this, and really just have it display like front and center. If you're in a tournament, on the tournament view, be like, all right, if you win these, there's a good chance that you'll make top 16 or something like that. Because there's nothing that does that currently. And
Correct.
You always have to eyeball it, calculate it yourself. So it's very ambitious, and I have no idea how I'm going to do it. I thought about it in Brazil, and I was like, it was really complicated. So hopefully I'll find a way to do that.
Have you thought about like monetizing as far as like ad-free versions?
Yeah, so I have a Patreon. Go check it out. It's just for support right now, but I have every intention. Thanks for reminding me. I should do that. Syncing it to the ad free. So yeah, if you are a supporter on Patreon, I'm really close to implementing it. I just been busy, but yeah, I'll implement it where if you have the Patreon, you will get ad free. Like I really want to do that, and then of course like I don't know, because everything I want to monetize, I'm like, but this could be useful to everyone. You know what I mean? Like this could be useful to everyone. I don't know what I
I
want to
mean, there's
like
a level you have to figure out the
paywall.
monetization, right? There's a
Yeah, I think
level,
like
right?
I think like for the power users, like if you really want some like advanced analytics, like maybe the thing I was telling you about, like I'm not exactly sure. I kind of just do this kind of because
Just yeah,
I like helping people out and I kind
yeah,
of like this. So the money is just always like just like always secondary. And even when I like launched PokeStats, like people were like, yo, you should get ads on this. I don't even think it had ads like starting
yeah. No,
on
it
it.
definitely didn't day one.
It
Yeah,
didn't. Yeah. People were just like, you could be making money off of this. And I look at how many people are using it. I'm like, yeah, I should do that at least. Like,
yeah.
like I should do that at least.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for joining. Everyone kind of, down below, leave some comments so Jared can have some suggestions for PokeStats Live. If you haven't already, make sure you use it. I know maybe you could work on something for some local cups. That could be really cool.
That's not an Arcanine. That's not happening.
I mean,
But
you can make it happen. Like you can make it manual. There's stuff you
correct.
could do, right? I mean,
Oh, I
there's
try. Yeah, yeah. There was this one cup I actually did try, and I was just like, nah. Then I forgot about it. So
yeah, maybe, right? I mean, cups are big, right? Cups
Cups
are
are
part of
big.
stipend races, so I mean, people
True.
got to do well with the cups as well. But Jared, thanks so much for joining, man. Congratulations on your top 128. Where can people find you? I know you got Metafy recently. All those things. Kind of drop all your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you can catch me on Twitter X at J Grimesy. It's like J Grimes EY. I YouTube, Twitch, same handle. Still need to edit my LAIC vlog, should be up soon, so look forward to that. And then yeah, Metafy is the same, J Grimesy. You can find it. You can find it usually all through my Twitter. So definitely check that out.
Oh, Jared, thanks so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. Have a good day. Okay, thank you to Jared Grimes for coming on the Beach Court podcast. I really love talking to him about Chen Pao and the deck. Also, just a quick shout out to Nakama Anime Cafe and Bar here in Jacksonville, Florida. Huge shout out to you for sending me, some sponsorships for, Latin American International Championship. I'm so excited to get you a finish finally. If you're in the area anytime, come out and support us Wednesday nights. We play locals at 6:30 p.m. We have challenges and cups now, so we can also, host those. So make sure you check out the event locator on pokestats.live. That is a new feature now available on PokeStats Live. But yeah, that wraps up our discussion today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you comment, subscribe, like below. We appreciate all your support. Have a great day.
Yeah. See you later.
Yeah, thanks everyone.